Artist is Miss Coon, and today we're going to create a word tessellation that has radial symmetry. So our goal today is that we can describe how to make a tessellation and that we can create a tessellation using a word that has radial symmetry in the work. We're going to look at a few examples of radial symmetry and then we're going to get started. Radial symmetry is symmetry around a central axis. It can be divided in half by any plane that contains the main axis. All elements are spread out from a central point. Radial symmetry can be found in cultures around the world. There are examples of Tibetan monks using it for meditation, as well as decorative in cathedrals as stained glass windows. Radial symmetry can also be found in nature. For our project today, you're going to need a square piece of white paper. You could use tracing paper or copy paper, something that's kind of thin, a pencil, and then something to add color with later. We're going to start by folding our paper in half, and because it's a square, it doesn't matter if you fold it left to right or top to bottom. So we have a tall, skinny rectangle, and then we're going to fold the rectangle in half so that we have a square. Okay, then I'll open up my paper. And I'm going to now fold it diagonally. So I'm going to go corner to corner and then corner to corner. So I'll fold one side and I'll open it back up and fold it the other way so that I have radial symmetry in my folds. They all have a central axis. That's this little dot in the middle of my paper. All of our lines go through the central axis. Now I'm going to fold this paper up until it makes a triangle shape. And then I'm going to fill this triangle shape with a word. You could use your name or you could use a word that's important to you. I'm going to write art. So I'm going to draw an A that comes from the top or from the bottom of my triangle to the top and then back down. It's really important in tessellations that we don't leave any gaps or spaces. Everything kind of touches the top and the bottom of the space. So my A has to touch the bottom of the triangle and the top. So my R, it might be tempting to draw kind of a short R, but I need my R to go all the way up to the top. And then it can curve and it needs to come all the way back down. So your center letters and whatever your word is are going to be larger or taller than your first letters or your last letters. And then I've got my T. Remember, my T has to touch the top and the bottom. You can switch between lowercase and uppercase if you have one that you prefer or find an easier time getting to the top or the bottom. So I have an A, R, T for art. My letters are touching the bottom of my triangle and the top. And then I'll open this up. And I drew with pencil to make sure that I was happy with my design. And if you're happy with it, you'll outline your pencil word with a marker. You can use a permanent marker or a washable marker, whatever you have. I'm using black. You don't have to use black. You could use a dark blue or a dark purple. I wouldn't use anything too light. I would use a darker color. Now, it's important that it touches the top and the bottom of that triangle. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper. I'm going to flip over, and I'm going to look for that word that's showing through. And I'm going to trace the word. It still has to touch the top and the bottom. Now, if you're having a hard time seeing your letters, you could press your work into a window, or, see, I'm having to struggle a little bit to see mine, so that you could easily trace them. Oops, my camera wiggled a little bit, sorry. And so I'm going to open up. You're going to notice that this word is backwards because I was tracing it, right? And the tops and the bottoms will touch each other and kind of fill the space because I don't want to leave any gaps or any empty spaces. So now the next trick is I've got to keep folding my paper so I can keep tracing my design. So if I fold it in half this way, I can trace it on to these two sections. And then I would have it here and here. and a lot of friends will get kind of confused about what to do next. So if you get kind of confused and you can't seem to find it, you can fold it on a diagonal line, and then it will be in diagonal corners. And I can help you with the fold. I'm really quickly going to fill all of these spaces in. Okay, I've added color to my work. It still has radial symmetry, so it would be symmetrical from the axis. If I folded it diagonally, this blue matches up with this blue. If I folded it horizontally, that blue would match with that blue, and that yellow to that yellow. I can't wait to see what you create.
Remember to share photos of your art with Miss Kuhn at Kuhn Art Room, or you can email them to me at amkuhn@auburnschools.org. Thanks. Bye.